Hey everybody out there in Stomperland, this is Mike again. Figured I'd show a repair I've done before. Seems to work pretty good for saving old motors. What this is this is one of the dual shaft. I believe it's the only other one I've found. It's on eBay. They're like $1.25 or $1.50 a piece, but if you buy a bunch of them at once, they'll give you a better deal. You can like send an offer and get them for like $1 a piece. Unfortunately, they're like 3 or 3.5 volt. I mean, if I put this to it, this is a 3 volt jumper here. If I put this to it, it does all right. But if you do a 1.5 volt, like in a regular stomper, it barely moves. So, but what I found is, like on a regular stomper motor that's pretty good, but you just can't get it going. Usually it's the contacts down inside there. And what you can do is remove this, the plastic casing piece, and put the one off of this one, which is new and fresh copper, you know, however you want to look at it. Put it on this motor and bring this motor back to life. So that's the repair we're going to do today. I'm going to try and link this in here. I'm going to look them back up on eBay. I bought probably 40 of them from them. I used them. First, I thought I was going to be able to use them to get stompers going. Then once I got a bunch of them, I realized that they weren't good for much. But you can use them in the semis. They do about the same as a stock motor, because with the 3 volts, they'll do all right. But anything less than that, they just won't pull the stomper. So here we go. We're going to try and put this case on this motor and see if we can save that motor. First thing you gotta do is remove the gears off the old motor. Okay, now on this, you want to be careful when you take it apart. Again, like in my other video, this little J clip, I don't know what it's actually called. That's what gives you your positive to the motor. It goes to the case, connects to the case. So you touch the case, that's your positive, and this is your negative. So pry up on these little tabs. And I guess if you wanted to, if you had a bad case, there's a lot of this you could use. You just really can't use the armature because it's wound different. That's the difference in the amount of voltage in that it'll allow the motor to take. So everything but the armature you can use. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that off. There's our J clip. I'll not drop it right down there. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, that's the J clip. So looking there, and there's hair, and just it's kind of hard to see, but a lot of them get worn and they get little grooves in the little contacts, and they're pretty much junk. So rather than try and clean them up or bend them around or whatever, I found you can just usually take one of these off. Same way, the only difference is you don't have to pull brass gears off of it. And pop that off. This is the part you really can't use. You could use the magnets. I've tried them. They don't make a difference on a regular motor. I thought maybe if they were a little stronger, it might give a little more power or something. It doesn't, at least that I've noticed, do much. But you could always reuse that case if you need another case or whatever. This is the part you really don't need. So while we got this one apart, I'm going to take my wire Dremel. And I'm going to clean up the copper right in here. So it's got something good. It's probably got some gunk and that buildup on it. Alright, make that look good and new. So here's the new one. The J-clip's still on there, so I'm going to leave that on there. Well, it just fell off. But anyway, when you put this on, you want to make sure and try and put it back on the same way it was, or it'll run in reverse. Okay, so you can tell this was a Rough Rider motor because there's a little dab of solder right up here on this corner. Rough Rider soldered on the top of the motor for the light and Stomper on the bottom. So to keep the polarity and it moving the proper way, I'm going to put it in this way. Now when I do this, I spin this as I'm pushing it on so that it slides on a little easier, and then your little contacts in there don't get bent up in that, because that'll happen sometimes if you're not careful. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and bend some of these tabs down. Hold that thing on because we can slide that in. I just won't, just kind of hold it in place. Now see, if I touch the case in this contact, it won't do anything because it's not grounded out here. So that's what the little J-clip's for. So now I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see these little suckers. Put this little J-clip on here. Make sure there's no gunk and crap on it. Oops, sorry. Glasses hit. Make sure your two little grooves go in there, and then when you push up here, you just want to make sure it goes under the case. Okay, so hopefully if we did that right. If we did it right, then when I'm done, I'll bend this tab out so you can solder to it, and you'll have a good motor. So let's give it a try. There you are, new starter motor, or Stomper motor. Now when you do this, now that I know that works, I'm going to go ahead and pry this out a little bit so I can do it. The little copper tab on bottom is negative. That goes to the negative of your battery. So I'll clamp this here and then put this on the case and make sure it rotates downwards. That will allow you, when you put the battery in, for the Stomper to go the correct direction if you have it backwards. If it's backwards, all you got to do is flip it. Can't tell, but it does look like it's going backwards. So I'm going to pop this off and flip it over. That's where a single A battery would probably work a little better. It wouldn't be quite as fast. Now I know it was right because I sat here and explained how to do it, and then I did it the wrong way. There's your solder. So that the tab should have been opposite. The tab should be down facing the solder side. So I can tell you right now I had it backwards. So sorry about that. But that's why we test them before we put them in there. Nothing sucks more than going to put one in and it goes backwards. So let's try this again before I cramp these all the way down. Okay, the negative is that little tab. Now it's not going to run. There we go. Okay, now she's going the right way. Now we've got a new tab here that we can solder to. I'm going to crimp these up a little tighter so it holds on there, and put the gear back on, and you've got you a new stomper motor. Easy peasy.